For some time I had this curtain in my workshop, because I sometimes use it when I want to change the background of my videos, because it's very easy to use that effect. But as you can see, like this is very ugly because it stands there in the corner. Till now I was using this on these sliding rollers, and when I don't use it I put it on the side. And that's very ugly and also messes up the curtain. That's why today I'll go from this to this. An automatic motorized curtain with rollers that will go up and down and can be controlled with my smartphone. And this is pretty cool, right? I will share with you as always for free the 3D printed parts, the schematic and the code, so check electronews.com. So guys, let's get started. Do you want professional PCBs like these ones that look so good? Then use the services of PCBWay. You can select the board size, any solder mask color that you want, including some exotic purple, or if you want, the matte black and green. You can select the thickness, and the PCB could be from 2 up to 14 layers for some more complex designs. The finish quality is so good, and if you want better connectivity, you could also select the gold finish for your pads. The ordering process is so easy. Just go to PCBWay.com, quote now, insert your design settings and the amount of PCBs, upload the Gerber files, and order now and receive the PCBs in just a couple of days. What's up my friends, welcome back. My background wall is around 2.5 meters wide. I bought these wooden bars from a local Home Depot for just $7. Then I measured the diameter. Then I make this simple design in Blender. I print it out and now I could have a bearing on top. And this part could be later fixed in place on the wood bar. And then I've designed this other part. And this will get fixed in place on my room ceiling, and it will secure in place that bearing support. And that's for the right side. But on the left side we need something more. And as you can see, the 3D design is a bit more complicated. First I've made this case. To rotate the bar I want to use a step motor, because it's easy to use and very precise. But to increase the torque I've also printed these gears. One will go on the step motor shaft, and the other one will be screwed on top of an 8mm threaded rod. And this rod will be connected to another plastic support like this, and once again this will support the other side of the wood bar. Now all we have to do is to keep in place this screw and rotate this gear, and together with it the wood bar, and like that we can pull up and down the curtain. For that I've designed this gear case. We can have the stepper motor below here and another bearing on the side. And inside we can have that gear, and the stepper motor would be able to rotate it, increasing the torque. But using only one bearing is not enough, because like that the screw will move around and we don't want that. That's why on the other side we have another part of this case. This one has another space for another bearing, so like that the screw will be supported on both sides, so it won't wobble around. And inside this case we can also place the electronics. And then we also have a cover that is very easy to put in place. This part would get screwed in place on my ceiling, and then we can slide this gearbox on like this. So that's how we fix this in place on my workshop ceiling. So go below and download all these 3D files. They were all printed with PLA filament. Together with the 3D parts we also need 3 bearings like these ones, the 608ZZ. We also need a threaded rod of 8mm, some nuts, washers, and some M3 screws. As for the electronics, we need a NEMA 17 stepper motor. This one is quite big, so it should have enough power. And to control it we need a driver. The cheap version would be these A4988 drivers, but these are very loud. If you want a silent and smooth movement, I always use the TMC2202 drivers. They only cost a few more dollars. And to control this driver, I will use an Arduino Nano. And to receive the data from the smartphone, I will use a Bluetooth module like this one, the HC05 or 06. And to supply everything, I will use a 12V DC adapter like this one, connected to this power jack. And that's pretty much all we need, so let's start assembling this motorized curtain controller. We start with the threaded rod. It should be around 9 cm long. On one end I add a nut, then the wood bar support, and then another nut and tie them. We tied it very well so it won't get loose. Now I add a bearing and yet another nut. And then I pass this rod through one side of the gear case like this. And inside we can add a washer, then another thicker washer, then we add a big gear, another washer and another nut, and we tie this on the gear. And on the other side I get the small gear and the stepper motor. On this gear we add a threaded insertion like this one. I use my soldering iron for that. Now I place the gear on the motor shaft and I tighten a screw. The motor will go here below the gear case, and it will be in contact with the big gear. So I add 4 screws for the stepper motor. We adjust the position of the motor so the small gear will be in good contact with the big one, and then we can tie the screws. At this point we can add some Vaseline to the gears before we close the case. Now I get these 3D printed parts. Using some small screws, we first join together these two parts. And on the small part we add some threaded insertions on the sides. So now we can merge this part of the case with the rest of the gearbox. And to close it we add some screws on the sides. And then I can add another bearing with another nut. So now the gear system is done. And inside this case we can place the electronics and then close it with this cover. So below I add this power connector. And this will supply 12 volts. On a piece of prototyping PCB I will add the Arduino, the driver and the Bluetooth module. But first I cut the PCB to size so it will fit inside. So this is the schematic for this project, so download it from below before you make the connections. I solder everything and make the connections with some small wires. And now my PCB is ready. And by the way, this prototyping PCB is my own design, because I always buy these green ones from AliExpress for example. But it will cost you a lot cheaper to just make this 100 by 100mm PCB and order it from PCBWay, because 10 PCBs like this one are just $5. They are double-sided, black and with no margins, just as I want it. So you can download this design from my website if you want it. Anyway, the electronics are prepared and connected together. I place it inside of the case. I solder the wires from the 12V jack to the PCB. And then I connect the step motor wires to the driver. I've also soldered some wires to the Hall sensor. And this will go connected on these pins on the PCB. I want to glue this Hall sensor here and use it as a limit stop switch when the curtain is up, and that will be the start position. Now that everything is connected and inside, I upload the final code that you can download from below. You could also download this Android app that I've designed, copy it to your smartphone using the USB cable and then install it. So let's make a test. I connect 12 volts and turn on the Arduino. In Bluetooth we search for new devices and we pair to the HC05 module using 1234 or a 0000 password. And now I open the app. We press the Bluetooth icon and then we select the Bluetooth module, and you will see that the LED will stop blinking. And now I can rotate the motor up and down. And when I press the home button, as you can see, the motor will rotate in one direction till I place a magnet in front of the Hall sensor. And when that happens, it will store the home position so we can use it normally. And then you can use the arrows on the app to lower or raise the curtain. So everything seems to work okay. So I take down the old background. I place the curtain flat on my living room floor. And then I add the wood bar and use some staples to fix it in place. I add another bar on the other side as a weight. I screw in place on the ceiling the left case with the motor. And then I add the right side. I add the bearing and I fix the curtain with the wood bar in place. So now I pass a plastic cover for the wires, and through this I pass the supply wire with 12 volts. So now everything is ready for a test. I start the app. We connect to the Bluetooth module and move the curtain up and down. It works very well and is very easy to use it. Okay, so then we press the home button and the curtain will go up till it touches with the magnet the Hall sensor, and then it stops, and that will be the 0 position. And then we can use the arrows to extend the curtain at its maximum length. And when we are at full extension, we can press the Set Max button, and the new maximum length will be stored to the Arduino. And now adjust the height however you want. So guys, do you like my project? You have everything that you need below ready for download from electrobes.com. And maybe you could improve this design and make it battery based, for example. Feel free to make any improvement. I hope that you have learned something new, and if so, consider giving me a like or comment below. Thanks again and see you later, guys. Hey guys, so we are at the end of this video. So some of you guys are supporting me on Patreon, and thank you very much for that, because thanks to you I'm able to buy all these components and the modules that I use for my tutorials. And if you would like to support me as well, you have the links for my Patreon, for my website and my shop below in the description. Thank you for everything.